Wow. So have you heard this new shit about Donald Trump saying that the FBI is sending informants into Catholic churches and that there's going to be this religious persecution and wow. And then Don Jr., he's at a rally. This looks very, very, very fucking unhealthy. This is a lack of blood supply. Okay, his mouth, his mouth is blue. His lips have no color at all. They're blue, gray. Wow, that is really bizarre. His lips are gray. Let me see if I can flip this around without getting into it. That's his lips are gray. That's weird. Um, that's really weird. That's like I don't know. Maybe he's doing something with his beard that he got some on his lips. I don't know. It's kind of weird. They should be pink and they're gray. They're literally grayish purple. Um, he's also saying that shit that oh the fucking boat that hit the bridge was a and they always put the caveat in there. Now I don't want to be the one to start the conspiracy, but and then everything after but is all just nonsense. And then I mean, do you understand what these people are attempting to do to America? They want to divide us as Americans. Fuck you. I can get along with 95%, 90% of any hardcore Republican. I can get along with them. Do you know why? Because neither one of us feels the need or the urge to push their political view on another person as a way of having a conversation. There are so many more things to talk about than the three G's, which are not allowed in my house: guns, God, and government. If people want to have a discussion about that, have it somewhere else. Don't have it here. So, they're just it's what they're saying. They're so fucking desperate. They're so desperate. That's what it is. Desperation, man. A desperate. Don't fucking you go near a drowning man. And that's what's happening right now. The trouble is that no one's coming to save Donald Trump because he's unlikable. No one likes him, even the people that he used to work for, and the ones that are siding with him, like Mark Meadows, still. That's out of desperation. They're just hoping beyond hope that he can be elected president again, and we already know that that's a numerical impossibility. It's only how much he's going to get beat by this time. That's it. It's going to be so massive that even the electoral college won't be able to go, no, we're going to go this way. It's the Republican Party down ticket is going to get fucking destroyed. And I'll be honest with you, that's not healthy because a lot of good Republicans, a lot of the balancing weight against the Democrats is going to go out with the fuck baby with the bathwater thing. We cannot have a healthy government without two healthy parties. In other words, the country, the way I've always seen presidential elections is they're always close. Very, 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 very rarely do we get something we would call a landslide. Even that's kind of pumped up nowadays, okay? It's, when you lose by 7 million votes, that's very substantial for the number of people that voted. You have to remember that 2/5 of Americans are going to vote Democratic. 1/5 is going to vote for Donald Trump, not Republican. But then there's the independents who make up the majority, and they're the ones that are like me, understand, look, we need two healthy political parties, but right now, they're the MAGA group, the fucking Freedom Caucus, whatever the fuck they want to call themselves, have just gone out there. Not good for America in any way. It's radicalized fucking conspiracy theories and Just like the way Marjorie Taylor Greene dresses and acts when the room is full, screaming liar and dressing like a fucking snowball, or the only one in the whole place wearing MAGA gear. See, she wants to be vice president so fucking bad. I don't know. I do know what's going to happen in November. People just need to quit worrying. Donald Trump. From just. I'm not talking about my lifetime of experience being an independent or a Republican. It's my experience of meeting people all over the world. I've met people from 25 or 30 different countries. I've lived with people from other countries and cultures. I had a lot of people from Lithuania, Bosnia, um, and Ukraine. And some Polish people wanted to come and do mining in the United States. I guess they probably saw one of my things about how to file gold claims. I used to do all that stuff. I ran ads in the newspaper and shit for people, for training people how to go and recover placer gold. And these guys just got interested, and they hung out with us up at Fells Flat for a whole summer learning everything they could, and then they were gone. Wished them good luck and have at it. Don't get the fever, and who knows what they did. You know what I mean? But I got along with culture is something that should be celebrated. It's something beautiful. It should be appreciated by people outside of that specific culture. We should all look at one another as with respect when it comes to culture. The trouble with this MAGA crazy Trump thing is that they can't say that. They have to say that person being different, you need to be afraid of them. You need to be afraid of them, and that they're coming for your job, and they're rapists. And okay, I got to tell you, crime is much lower in the immigrant population because they know that they're gone, maybe their families too. I can tell you, yeah, you don't have to look towards Mexicans to see crime, and it's just common fucking sense. Jesus, it's common sense. Okay. But when I'm hearing Donald Trump talk about the feds are going to be inserting spies into your Catholic churches, into your Christian churches, so that they can, spy on you because they view you as terrorists. I'm like, oh my God. First, the guy hawks a Bible that has shit added to it, which is a big no-no. And then he starts talking about this religious persecution that's not happening. It's not fucking happening. None of this shit is happening. But the moron 1/5 crowd is glomming onto that because they need it. They need that fucking mental whatever it is. You know what I mean? For them, it's therapy, kind of like YouTube's therapy for me. You know what I mean? They probably get some sort of deep, satisfaction out of being part of that special thing. And they like to hate, and therefore it's the perfect flavor of, political party. I don't know. I have 3 stepbrothers and sisters. Their last name is Herrera. My first job for like 4 years straight was picking cherries out in Brentwood with all Mexicans that I learned every year they would come back. And I got to know a lot of them. I was they had nicknames for me because I would go all the way to the top of an 18-foot ladder, the last fucking rung on an 18-foot ladder with a cherry bucket picking cherries. For Del Monte, had to have the stems on them. You had to pick them with the stems. You couldn't just rake them down. You had to pick them with the stems. And I was the only one that would go and stand on that top step. Again, my mom let me do this shit, by the way. So here I am, 13 years old, with this bucket that weighs, 30 pounds full. See, Americans don't want those jobs. They don't. They don't want to be doing lettuce and they don't want to do that kind of work. Americans traditionally just have not wanted to, and whenever states, counties, or whatever try to impose this unjust fucking thing on migrant workers, they end up getting fucked. Look at Florida. You notice they quit talking shit already, didn't they, huh? You haven't heard a single fucking word out of DeSantis about the Mexican homeless the Mexican whatever problem in Florida, because they all packed up their shit and went somewhere else, and that hurt them bad. So, I mean, there's negative results come when these groups band together. I think that's really good. So, yeah, there is no spy system going on in the churches. There's, uh, it's really weird. You and I, because I know by now, if you're still listening to me, you're definitely not a Trumpy. You're a sane person who feels like I do. But then again, I'm not confused about why they do it. I know I've already done a couple of videos now that it is either a psychosis that we don't really understand right now, or it's hypnosis, self-hypnosis. They've convinced themselves that Donald Trump's a great businessman. They can read an entire biography on the man and ignore all of it except for these two words right here. You know what I mean? The trouble is you cannot discuss anything with a stupid person, because they rely solely on the ability to say, yeah, well, that's part of the bullshit. The explanation you're giving me isn't science. It's not provable. They have all this, ways of just saying, well, I'm not validating anything that you have to say. But they're only 1/5. They're only 1/5. I am absolutely worried about the Republican Party. You see that all the senior, sane people are like, I'm getting the fuck out. You see that. And then there's some who just don't want to give it up. It's all they've ever done their whole fucking lives, like McConnell. They just can't give it up because it's who and what they are. And without that, they'll be dead in a fucking week of boredom. They're used to being that. We need a healthy Republican Party, and right now I see at least 2 elections. So we'll have this November, another 4 years, another 4 years. By that time, 8 years, we'll start seeing wiser minds controlling the Republican Party. That we'll start seeing people coming in that when they speak to the constituents, they'll be like, see, what have you gotten for this craziness? Nothing. You have all these representatives that want to come to Washington and talk about, okay, we're not letting you spend any money. And then they go back to their home state with $25 million and just brag the fuck about how all the great job they did. But that money came from blue states. I'm a realist. I completely fucking understand that California is the 6th largest economy in the world. I know where all these fucking poor states, the redneck states that are fucking Trumpy up the fucking yin-yang, are the states that suck the blue states dry. And they'll never admit that. Either they'll just say, oh, that's a lie, or the numbers are wrong, or, but you see, me and you, we know it's true. So this, again, I think it always comes back to our education system, that we truly failed in our education system. And now we want to make our education system an actual political fucking point. You know what I mean? I in school, because I scored so high, it got me in trouble. And the American system is still set up that way. Parents, most of the time, can do just as good a job at home teaching their kids if they actually put them through a program. You know what I mean? Here, we're going to do this for a few hours, this for a few hours, this for a few hours. Give you a day off, then we're going to do this and this. You can actually advance them way faster. You can get them thinking like science, okay, in a scientific manner, so that you understand about how to gather data, how to make sure data is correct, how to understand a bullshit story when it's being shoved in your face. You know what I mean? How to be a smart individual with worldly skills. Parents can do that quite well. Our school system cannot. And maybe it never can, but I know it can do better. I know it can do better. You go to the southern states and they don't spend fucking shit on that. Nothing. They're so broke. I mean, it's just crazy. But see, without that, then they couldn't get elected. If Kentucky was full of high school or college graduates instead of high school dropouts, then things would be different. Mississippi, I mean, you name it, things would be different. So I guess we need to invest. I'm sure that most species out there, that's the most important thing is knowledge, not how big a fucking boat you got. And I'm sure that we are the ugly exception when it comes to how to manage your planet, et cetera, et cetera. But without a healthy Republican Party, I don't know that we can function well. I'm kind of worried about that. Yeah. Okay. That felt better. I had to get that off my chest. When I hear this crazy shit about sending spies into the churches to persecute you, I mean, you know where that leads. It's such a fucked up thing for those people to do to America. They're a disgrace.